It was built in 1918, and Eugene Matheson was the architect as well. You've heard some stories about him. Again, mostly office space, rented out over the years. We didn't find as much information on that. But Katie's going to talk about a hotel that was in this general area.
So an annex to the Grand Central Hotel was the Hotel Fulton. It was 5 stories and a tall building that was that towered over its 3-story neighbors. It has an interesting story in that it burned down in 1914. So this picture taken in 1914 was before it burned. And notice the trolleys in the picture. We'll be talking about trolleys when we get to the next corner a little bit. Fulton was a main trolley corridor. This is a picture from our fire department thing of the burnt hotel.
Such a great picture.
Hotel Fulton, and that's from like standing on top of the buildings next to it and just seeing kind of like the top portion of it that was burnt. It had, what is it, in the evening of like August 7th, 1914, it burned, and the Sacramento Daily Union reported the next day that 2 firefighters passed away, several people were injured. So of course it had a very brief lifetime, but it's an interesting story in that it existed. Right here next to what Ruth's going to talk about.
Well, if we could go a little bit, we can see if there's not too much room there, but where this building right here that says Mi Casita, that is the oldest building really in Fresno. This is the Fresno Expositor building. Some of you may or may not have heard about it, but this was Fresno's first newspaper. It's been in the news a little bit that they uncovered and did more research and discovered that the original building is under that stucco. It was originally built as a 1-brick building in 1881, so very early. A 2nd story was added in 1888, and then a 1-story addition to the rear in 1898. So maybe Katie, if you can show them that picture. Whoops. Got it. And the editorial offices were located upstairs. The printing presses were downstairs. Later it became a saloon on the 1st floor and a lodge hut on the 2nd. And so it was stucco wrapped in the 1960s. But again, they've been doing more research on the building itself. But it really is all under that facade today. One of our really earliest buildings in Fresno still is there.
And are we doing coffees?
And
it's all there.
Is this,
so we
this
had
block
a group
or next
of
block?
volunteers.
There
was plaster on the inside, and then you have this junk on the outside. So we took off the plaster on the inside with a group of volunteers last year to re-expose, and the windows are still all in there at that shape. So at some point we will hope that the property owner will restore the front of the building. So it's all there. And the thing I think that's fun about history is how relevant it often is. So this newspaper was a workers' rights newspaper, or in today's parlance we would say liberal. And if you've been to the old downtown club that had the printing press in it, that was the Republican. That was a very pro-business and or conservative newspaper. So in the 1880s, we had a liberal newspaper and a conservative newspaper printing their own version of the news. Does that sound relevant at all? You sometimes think that this is only happening in our time. It's happened since the beginning of time, so, and it's certainly in our city. So these clashes aren't new.
As we're going to walk then again, and as you go past several of these buildings, this Coffee's was located here for a while, and a little further on down there, then it moved, and we'll have a picture we'll show you a little later of that. But this is what it looked like again, this street. So it had, again, jewelry stores were quite prevalent as we did our research. It seemed like there was always a lot of jewelry stores. Wheel Brothers, Florsheim Shoes, across the street with Leader store. So a lot of retail in this area specifically.